My dear students, I hope you are well. We are discussing degrees of adjectives and adverbs. Today we will continue the class. In our previous class, I talked about comparative to positive, that is changing from comparative degree to positive degree. Uh, in comparative degrees, we basically use some phrases like than any other, than all other, than most other. And in positive degree, we usually start from no other or all other, or sometimes we uh, write something different, or we bring something different in place of a subject. And we will see these examples now. Okay. Suppose a sentence is, he is more dependable than any other man. He is more dependable than any other man. This is comparative degree, and when we want to change this to convert it into positive degree, what will we do? Than any other. Okay. If you find than any other, you will start from no other. Than any other man, that is, it will be no other man. Okay. In this way, you will start. Thereafter, you will use verb according to new subject, and thereafter you will change the degree here, more dependable. That will be only so dependable as. And always we change affirmative into negative and negative into affirmative. I have previously told you this. However, so in positive form, this is no other man, no other man, then verb is so dependable, as he or him. Always he, not objective form. You will write here subjective form. I again remind you, this is actually then he is, so dependable as he is. We don't write this verb again as we have used it previously. Okay. So actually we will stop here as he. No other man is so dependable as he. Okay. So we have seen here no other, no use of no other, and it was then any other. And if any sentence is with then all other, suppose the sentence is, he is more neglected, he is more neglected than all other boys, all other of the group. Of the group, okay, or in the group, it will be the same. He is more neglected than all other boys. So here you find then all other. So in case of then any other and then all other, you will use the same thing. No other, no other. Then it will be changed into singular form. No other boys. That is not we are going to use actually no other boy. So no other boy, no other boy, and this is related to boys. of the group, no other boy of the group, Then we have completed subject. Now come to verb. Is so neglected. So neglected as he. That is, as he is. So neglected as he is. We don't write is. So you see, this is the past participle form of a verb. But here this has been used as a modifier. Modifier, that is adjective. And we used more neglected. Now we are using so neglected as. So the sentence is, no other boy of the group is so neglected as he. Again, I want to mention another thing. In our previous class, some students wrote something commenting that there are other forms or other categories of changing. Okay, it may be. You have to change, and how you will change will depend on your capability and your experience. So changing may be done in different ways. Suppose this is a sentence, he is more neglected than all other boys of the group. We can use all other here. If we start from here, all other boys of the group, it will be also right. Then you have to change the verb into negative form. The sentence will be, all other boys. So here we are not changing into negative. Negative, the verb will be negative. All other boys, then are. Because of plural verb. We cannot use is here, rather we will use are because of plural verb. Then we have to make it negative, are not. All other boys are not. Okay, in this way you can also say, are not what? Are not so neglected, more neglected, that is so neglected as he. Okay, this is also correct. You can change also in this way. Okay, so this is the way to change in case of then all other. Sometimes we find comparative degrees with less. That is, while comparing, we don't increase or amplify the degree. Rather, we just lessen or decrease the degree of adjective. So, it tends to be negative. Suppose a sentence, you are not less learned. You are not less learned than, you are not less learned than any other man. Any other man. Then any other, we know it will be changed into no other man. Okay, that is different. But here you see less learned. So this tends to be negative, or it is decreasing. The just we are not increasing the power of learning or the experience of learning. But here we have used less in place of more. You are not more learned. That is quite opposite to you are not less learned. So, if you find this type of sentences, you will not need anything to change in place of verb. Verb will be the same. You can go in this way. You are as learned as any other man. So, notice the difference is glaring, very explicit. You see, when you find any comparison, any comparative degree with comparison less, you will not change the subject. The subject will be same, but you have to eliminate the negative, not, because we always change into opposite forms. This is negative, this sentence is affirmative, and this is affirmative, we have not used so learned as, we have used as learned as. Understand? I hope you have understood. We have changed only the degree into as learned as. We have done this. Okay, and we have not changed the subject here. We have not started with no other man. Okay. And sometimes in comparative form, we find the comparison with most other, than most other, than most other. If you find this phrase in your sentence, what will you do? You will use very few. This is most commonly used, very few, than most other. When you find than most other, you will use the phrase very few. A sentence is necessary to give an example. A simple man is happier. A simple man is happier than most other persons. Than most other persons. Okay. So, you see than most other here. If you find this, you have to start in positive degree with very few. So, then most other persons will be changed into very few persons. Okay. So, very few persons. Then verb. Verb is. But will we use is here, or we will use are? Certainly are. Why? Because of persons, not person. This is plural. So are. Negative are not? No. Certainly not. Why? Because this very few, that is very small in number, very small in quantity, where you will find quantity, quantifiers. This tends to be negative. And as this expression tends to negative, the sentence is nearer a negative sentence. That is why you will not use are not, rather you will use are. Very few persons are so happy. So happy as a simple man. Simple man. Very few persons are so happy as a simple man. Actually, simple persons, simple people are happier. This is general truth if you are able to avoid complexity. If you can avoid the difficulty that is in your leading life, you may be happy. This is the common thing in our life, that you will be happy if you are simple in your expression, in your behavior, in your expectation in life. However, we have seen by this time three types of comparison, that is, than any other, than all other, than most other. Now, you can see another thing. This is not responding. What happened? What happened? This is not responding. Just Arif knows English more than you. This is with only than. Sometimes we find such things. Arif only with than. Arif knows English. Arif knows English more than you. More than you. Okay, this is the sentence. Actually, this is not true. I think you know more English than Arif. Okay, this is only a sentence to learn how to change. Arif knows English more than you. So, here you find only than. There is no any other or all other or most other. In this case, what will you do? You will bring the subject direct. Okay, in positive degree, positive degree, you will start from you. You. Then you have completed subject, then you are to write the verb. What is verb? Knows. But when the subject is you, the verb will be you do not know, because of negative, because of the person, for both reasons. You do not know English. You do not know English. Then come to what? Degree. What is the degree here? Only more. More. And this is not the additional thing attached to any adjective. Rather, this is the main word, main adjective. So, what is the positive form of more? Much, much, or many. When you can count, this is many. When you can't count, this is much. Here we can't count. This is uncountable. That is why we will use much. So much as you do not know English, so much as Arif. Okay. So when you find only then without any other or all other or most other, we will just replace the second subject with the first subject. You do not know English so much as Arif. You see Arif there. As Arif knows. Actually, the sentence is, you do not know English so much as Arif knows. And you find the difference here. Another example, I mentioned some examples which are exceptional. You find these examples are exceptional. So be mindful here. This forbidden book, this forbidden book, this is prohibited book. This book is not meant to read by certain people. That is why this is forbidden book. This forbidden book lasted longer than all the rest. All the rest. And what do you mean by all the rest? What is all the rest? All the rest actually some books. All other books than this forbidden book. This is just the expression. So, what will you do? You find here actually than all other books. This is like this. So, what would you do in case of than all other books? You would start with probably no other book. Okay. So, you can change in this way. No other book. In this way, you have brought the new subject. Subject is not directly mentioned here than all the rest, but we know what is meant by all the rest. So, no other book lasted. Here the verb is lasted, not did not last. Why? Because we have already changed it into a negative sentence with no. So, as we have used no, we will not change this verb into negative form. No other book lasted than longer. This is the degree of adjective longer. So, what is the positive form of longer? Long. So, we will use so long as. No other book lasted so long as. So long as what? This forbidden book. This forbidden book. So, book comes twice, 2 times. So, we can easily avoid this if we say as this forbidden one. And one means the thing which has been mentioned before. Actually, one means the book. So, forbidden one means forbidden books. So, this is the smart word here, one, not book. No other book lasted so long as this forbidden one or forbidden. Okay, and next I want to mention another sentence, another adverb that is not actually adjective, that is also an adverb. You do not hate him more than I. You do not hate him more than I. Okay. Our previous sentence was comparative, and that was also, the word we used for comparison was also adverb, longer. This forbidden book lasted longer. Longer was actually adverb, because it is related to verb lasted. Here, the same thing, you do not hate him more than I. So more is related to verb hate. Hate. That is why this is adverb. However, we find only than here, not than any other or all other or most other. So I will come here. I, and this is in negative form. This is in negative form. So we will make it affirmative. I hate him as much as this is affirmative sentence. We are not using so much as, we are using as much as the sentence is affirmative. So I hate him as much as you. You do not hate him more than I. Actually, two persons hate the same person. One is you, another is I. Both hate, and both hate a person actually in the same way. So I hate him as much as you. And if you extend the sentence, you will find do, as you do, or as you hate. And in case of that change, we don't mention do or hate. We don't write anything. We end with the subject only, as the verb is common. Verb is common. I hate him as much as you. Okay. So, dear students, we are changing this into simple sentence. Our laptop sometimes don't respond. What is the problem here? Now we will change superlative degrees to comparative. Superlative. From superlative to comparative. Comparative. This is very easy, dear students. You know, when we change superlative degrees into comparative degrees, we don't need to change the subject. As the subject is the same, so we get extra benefit here. And I am giving you some examples. Akbar was the greatest of all kings of India. This is comparative and positive degree. So I am to eliminate these things from here. Akbar was the greatest of all kings. Actually, not kings, emperors. All emperors of India. Akbar was the greatest of all emperors of India. So here you see the greatest. So this is certainly superlative degree. And when we use comparative degree, the change is very minor. So it will be Akbar was greater. Comparative form of greatest is greater than. And here you find all emperors. So we will write then all other emperors of India. Okay. Akbar was greatest than all other emperors of India. This is the common change, and I think this is very, very easy. We have changed here. Here. Now, another example, I am the most ignorant person in the world. I am the most ignorant person in the world. I am the most ignorant person in the world. This is superlative degree, most ignorant. That is superlative, and in comparative, this will be more ignorant. Most ignorant in comparative form, it will be more ignorant than any other person. I am more ignorant than any other person in the world. Any other person in the world. I am the, sorry, the will be eliminated. I am more ignorant. I am more ignorant than any other person in the world. In this way, we can change from superlative to comparative. Sometimes we find something different. Suppose it burns prettiest of any wood. It burns the prettiest of any wood. Prettiest of. Actually, you find always of with plural form, of all boys. Of all boys. Here you find singular form, of any wood. However, this is an adverb. Adverb why? Because it is the modifier of burns. How does it burn? It burns prettier, or it burns the prettiest. So this is actually an adverb. So we should change this. It burns prettier. Always the is used for superlative degree, not for comparative degree. Again, I mention this. It burns prettier. Prettier than any other wood. It burns prettier than any other wood. Okay. Dear students, sometimes we find superlative degree with one of. One of. You know, one of is used in case of several people. That is, this is superlative, this is true. At the same time, a single person is not in the superlative form. There are some other people of the same category, of the same status, okay, or with same qualities. Then we use one of them. When we use Nazrul is the greatest poet, and Nazrul is only a single person who is the greatest. But it may be that Nazrul is one of the most one of the greatest poets in the world. Then you have to know that Nazrul is not the only person in the greatest form. There are some other poets who are of the same status. Okay. So Mona Lisa is one of the best pictures Mona Lisa is one of the best pictures, one of the best pictures in the world. In the world. This is our sentence superlative degree, the best pictures. But we find another thing, one of the best pictures. Mona Lisa is the best picture in the world. That is one thing. Mona Lisa is one of the best pictures in the world. That is another thing. So not only Mona Lisa, but also other pictures like Last Supper or pictures of our uh, uh, painter Joinul Abedin. Okay, they are also the greatest type of picture. So Mona Lisa is not the only the picture of highest quality. There are some other pictures of highest rank, highest quality. However, in this case, when we change into comparative form, we will not change the subject. So Mona Lisa will remain here. Mona Lisa is better, as best comes from the word good, better, best. Here we write better. Mona Lisa is better than any other picture or all other picture or most other picture. As there is one of, we will use most other pictures. Mona Lisa is better than most other pictures in the world. So you find the different type of change. Another example with the same structure, you can change this yourself. I am writing this. Dhaka is one of the most densely populated one of the most densely populated cities in the world. This is the sentence. Dhaka is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. So Dhaka is not the only city which is densely populated, which is populous. There are several other cities in the world like New York, Washington, or Moscow, or Beijing. Okay, so there are several other cities in the world of the same status. So in this case, we will use than most other here. Okay, this place should be changed. Dhaka is more. Most will be changed into more densely populated than most other cities. Most other cities in the world. Dhaka is more densely populated. Dhaka is more densely populated than most other cities in the world. Here you get one more. This is comparative. Again, you find than most other cities. Okay. So this is notable here, as our adjective was with most densely populated. So there are two words of the same origin. However, we are changing superlative into comparative. Now, another example. I guess her hands, this is from comparative to positive. Dear students, now we will sense from positive to comparative degrees. From positive to comparative degree. Okay, from positive to comparative. And with this change, our class will end. We will give you some examples. The first sentence, the rise of Borishal. The rise of Borishal is not so fine as that of Dinajpur. This is the sentence. This is true. The rice of Dinajpur is very famous, you know, for especially fine rice. Highest qualities of rice is found in Dinajpur. And Borishal is also famous for rice, but that rice is not so much famous or so much tasty. Tasty with flavor, good flavor, as we find in Dinajpur. However, you find this sentence is positive sentence, so fine as. And what is the meaning of that of Dinajpur? Actually, rice of Dinajpur. The rice of Borishal is not so fine as the rice of Dinajpur. But the rice of Dinajpur is going to be twice. And to avoid this, it has been mentioned with that of. That of Dinajpur means the rice of Dinajpur. So, dear students, we will change this into comparative form. So, we will change the subject here. In case of changing from superlative to comparative, we don't need to change the subject. But here, from simple to comparative, we have to change the subject. So, the rise of Dinajpur should be mentioned as the subject. The rise of Dinajpur, the rise of Dinajpur is finer than that of Borishal. You see the same thing, that of Borishal. In place of that of Dinajpur, we have written that of Borishal. That is the rice of Borishal. The rice of Dinajpur is finer than that of Borishal. You see the sentence, in the affirmative form. Previously, it was in the negative form. So, while changing degrees, we also change negative into affirmative, affirmative into negative. Another example, no other storybook is so popular as the Arabian Nights. When you want to mention the name of any book, any printed book, you have to underline the name of the book. The name of the book is The Arabian Nights. This is the name of a book. You know, several stories are there. 1001 Night, that is Alif Laila wa Laila, 1001. In Arabian Nights, you find the stories there. However, this is a simple sentence. No other storybook is so popular as the Arabian Nights. We will change this into comparative form and we will use the subject also. So, the Arabian Nights is or are, you find nights. So, simply you will write here are, but that is not right here or correct here because this is the name of a book. And unfortunately, you find a positive plural form here. But here, nights is not subject. Subject is the Arabian Nights. Okay. So, Gulliver's Travels. This is not plural form. This is the singular form of the singular form, and this is the name of a book of Jonathan Swift. So, you have to write the singular verb. The Arabian Nights is, and we have to make this negative. No, not negative because we find here negative. So, this sentence will be affirmative. The Arabian Nights is as popular. No other storybook is so popular as the Arabian Nights. We are changing this. The Arabian Nights is not as more. This is comparative degree, is more popular. More popular than what? Than any other storybook. Any other story book. This is the sentence. The Arabian Nights. Here you have to underline this. The Arabian Nights. When you write with your hand, when you write on paper with your hand, you have to underline this. And in printed books, we keep this in italic form. That is italicized words. However, another example, very few persons are as greedy as he. Very few persons are as greedy as he. That is, as he is. Very few persons are as greedy as he. So, you find the use of very few, and you can remember a few minutes ago I have mentioned than most other. Where we use than most other, we use very few in positive degree. So again we are going to change this into comparative degree. So subject comes here, he is greedier he is greedier than most other persons Okay, the sentence is complete. He is greedier than most other persons. Okay, the sentence is complete. And another example, a lily was not so white as her forehead. A lily, you know what a lily? This is lily. A lily, this is flower. A lily was not so white as her forehead. Okay. So what will be the comparative? The comparative is her forehead. Her forehead was whiter, or more white. You can change in both ways. Her forehead was whiter than a lily. Her forehead was whiter than a lily, or her forehead was more white than a lily. In this way, you can change their students from positive degree to comparative degree. So, dear students, you have seen different sentences in different forms with the same meaning. Meaning is the same. So, why should we change this? Why should we change from one degree to another? This is just for our own expression. We want to express something with degrees or with qualities of a person, and if we know different forms, then we can use the exact word, exact phrase, and exact form of sentence. That is why we need to know how to change one degree into another. So, dear students, here I end changing degrees or degrees of adjectives and adverbs. Thank you very much.